In June, a Brat Pack documentary dropped on Hulu called Brats. It's a bunch of white American actors in the 80s and their qualms or issues with the term Brat Pack. But I think this brings light to something even bigger. So for anybody who plans to watch this, spoiler alert. Now the tea Andy spilled was about an article that came out in the 80s after they had their careers going, they just started, and this was the first time that a journalist had used the term Brat Pack. This journalist actually created it and it just changed everything. I had no idea behind all this tea with the term Brat Pack. If you read the article, I believe it's still online, it kind of puts them in the light of they're spoiled, they're not really acting, and it's really just about having parties and having fun and looking good, you know, that 80s yuppie kind of Hollywood life. Andy even said it was a scathing article. If you're an 80s fan like myself, I've always wondered for the longest time when the Brat Pack would come back together again, and it seems like Andrew, he really tried here. In this hour-and-a-half documentary, you can find Andrew McCarthy driving through New York City, going to California, specifically Malibu and elsewhere, to talk to former co-stars of his who were in movies with him like Pretty in Pink, St. Elmo's Fire, and others like The Breakfast Club. He tries to enlist the help of his friends or former co-stars, some he hadn't even talked to for decades, and even visited people like Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, Ali Sheedy, Demi Moore was even part of it. And it's almost like he wanted them to feel the way he felt, which he felt wronged, that the term created this stereotype that there are certain type of people and that they can't really act. It contributed to his career not going the way he wanted to in the acting space. And it was really interesting to see their perspectives on all this and what they chose to do with this term. For some, like Emilio, he agreed with what Andy was saying, that it harmed his career, but he chose to just kind of like move on and like forget about it. And then there were perspectives like Demi's where she was saying things like, you know what, that happened, but it's the power you give to it that makes it powerful. She was saying the more you give into this word or this term and you let it dictate your career, it's gonna do that. And all of the people Andy was talking to, Demi seemed the most to say, hey, you know what, take your power back and don't let this term or Brat Pack affect you anymore. She was trying to have him see that he was more than that. And I think it shows because after the 80s, she went on to do Ghost and different roles that were just totally different from her Brat Pack past, and she moved forward. A couple people I wish would have appeared or we heard from was Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson, but they declined to share anything in this documentary. Molly saying she wanted to move forward and leave the past in the past. At the end of it all, Andy faced his fears, and it wasn't until the very end of this where you could see he's accepted it. He's gone through the process of kind of grieving that past and how it changed things for him in his career, and getting the insights and perspectives from his co-stars / friends. I feel like now he's moving on, or at least it appears that way. This is pretty much Andrew McCarthy bringing light to the fact that certain things, certain words, think stereotypes, can change how people view others. In this case, the Brat Pack. Now, when you look at it for what it is, it's a bunch of white American actors in the 80s and their qualms or issues with the term Brat Pack. But I think this brings light to something even bigger. For me, it's a metaphor and perfect example of how stereotypes and words can group people unfairly. Think of people of color, the queer community, everybody who felt like they were outcasted, or the story was written for them already in articles, how they're portrayed in the media. This is a perfect example of that. So Andy, you're not alone in that feeling. There are a lot of people who feel the same way you do for different reasons as well, especially in Hollywood, which we need more representation in acting. So it's not just this Brat Pack issue, but people of color and of different communities, they need their time and their space too. Now, this other theme of fear and facing your fears, I really appreciated, and it resonated with me because it isn't until we confront our fears that we can actually grow and move forward and be the best versions of ourselves. And I feel like that's what Andrew or Andy was trying to do through this all. He was trying to like let it out. These were mini therapy sessions for him. I feel like with every conversation he had with former co-stars, he was a little by little chipping away and facing this fear of the Brat Pack term. Fears are only as strong as we let them be. So when we face them and we show them that we have the power, everything changes for the better. Have you seen this documentary? If you have, what are your thoughts? Is there anything I didn't talk about here that you want to share? And in true 80s movie fashion,
pretend you know the song I'm talking about. I don't want to get copywritten. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye.